Washington, Donald Trump is not done. At a campaign rally in South Carolina on Monday night, the U.S. President complained again about Canada's trade practices and jabbed again at Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who has been subjected to repeated attacks from the White House over the last month. He also repeated his threat of tariffs on Canadian-made cars, framing it as possible retaliation for Canada's dairy tariffs. U.S. President Donald Trump campaigned Monday for the state's GOP governor, who is in a tense runoff election. The president also spoke about issues including North Korea and immigration policy. The Associated Press Trump's speech was rambling even by his own rally standards. It involved extended criticism of three late-night television hosts, musings on his hair, and unprompted denial that his wife recently had a facelift, an accusation that the news media is the enemy of the people, numerous boasts and false claims, and another recounting of his triumphant performance in the 2016 campaign. When Trump eventually got around to Canada, he began by saying Canada in a loud, exaggerated voice. Canada. You know, Canada, nice guy, he said, extending his arms in a kind of conciliatory gesture. Prime Minister, Justin. I said, Justin, what's your problem? Justin, so, Canada. Oh Canada, I love their national anthem. Oh Canada, I like ours better, however. So, no, Canada's great, I love Canada, article continued. Below elsewhere in the speech, Trump referred deferentially to North Korea's dictator as Chairman Kim. Trump aides say the president intentionally refers to Trudeau by his first name to be diminishing. Maggie Haberman, a prominent New York Times reporter, wrote on Twitter. Read more. Donald Trump made 103 false claims last week, shattering his dishonesty record. Trump threatens Harley-Davidson with taxes like never before if it moves operations outside U.S. Jimmy Fallon responds to Trump. You're the president. Why are you tweeting at me? At a campaign rally in South Carolina on Monday night, Trump mocked Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and complained about Canada's trade practices. Trump also repeated his threats on Canadian-made cars. Evan Vucci, Associated Press. Trump then launched into his familiar complaint about the post-G7 news conference in which Trudeau repeated his measured criticism of Trump's new tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum. Trump baselessly suggested again that Trudeau gave the news conference because he thought Trump could not watch it while stuck on a long Air Force One flight to Asia. I get onto Air Force One. And he doesn't understand that Air Force One has 22 televisions. So come on, they have televisions in closets, they have televisions in areas that no place has. Unlimited budget, Air Force One, right, he said. Article continued below. So I get onto the plane and I see Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, saying, Canada will not be bullied by the United States. I said, what are we doing here? The fact is that Canada has a 275% tariff on dairy products, little thing called dairy product. Their lumber is a disaster with us. I say, why aren't we using our own lumber? The U.S. imported $5.7 billion U.S. in Canadian softwood lumber in 2016, according to Trump's Commerce Department. The two countries are still embroiled in a years-old lumber dispute. Energy is a disaster. Trump continued without elaboration. The White House has never explained the president's occasional vague complaints about the energy relationship. Trump then adopted a mocking voice to dismiss Trudeau's argument that Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs, officially imposed on national security grounds, are an insult to a close military ally like Canada. I see, Justin said, we fought World War I together, we fought World War II together, that's true. We love Canada, but Canada's charging almost 300% tariff on dairy products and many other things, he said. Top stories in your inbox. For the day's top news from the Star's award-winning journalists, sign up for our daily headlines newsletter. Canada's supply management system for dairy involves a quota on foreign imports and then high tariffs above the quota levels. The Canadian dairy industry argues that U.S. dairy farmers also get significant help from governments in the form of subsidies. Trump continued, "I said, look, if you want to do that, we're going to put a little tariff on your cars, Trudeau and the global auto industry, including U.S. automakers, have responded with alarm to Trump's suggestion of car tariffs, which would also be officially imposed on national security grounds despite Trump's statements. TD Economics forecast 160,000 job losses in Canada, the vast majority in Ontario, if such tariffs were imposed. The tariffs would also hurt American automakers. Trudeau pointed to this potential U.S. damage when discussing the tariffs last week. "I have to continue to believe that leaders will function in the interests of their own country," Trudeau said. "And I have a hard time accepting that any leader might do the kind of damage to his own auto industry that would happen if you were to bring in such a tariff on Canadian auto manufacturers given the integration of the parts supply chains, of the auto supply chains through the Canada-U.S. border." Daniel Dale is the Star's Washington bureau chief. He covers U.S. politics and current affairs. Follow him on Twitter, @Dale8.